All right, today we're going to talk about one of the greatest heavyweights in the sport of mixed martial arts. And we're also going to talk about potentially one of the greatest ducks. If you're talking to Tom Aspinall, of course, Tom Aspinall, the interim heavyweight champion, a man that is just itching to get his hands on Jon Jones ever since he knocked out Sergey Pavlovich in the very first round. He wants to fight Jones. He wants to fight Stipe. He wants to fight the toughest fights on planet Earth. And you got to respect that man. Now, he's been on Twitter a lot recently, going back and forth with Jon Jones. All pretty respectable, right? Nothing too bad. Just saying basically he wants to fight the best guys. Simple as that. Now, Tom is very active on Twitter. And today they were talking about Stipe. And Tom tweeted this. He said, while we're talking about Stipe Miocic, my manager was contacted by the UFC asking if I'd like to fight him on April 13th. I, of course, accepted. Now, the relevance of that, April 13th, UFC 300, Stipe versus Tom Aspinall as the main event. That would be ridiculous. And I think we'd all want to see that. Tom comes back to Twitter, though. He says, a little later, we were told that Stipe doesn't want to fight me and he's only interested in fighting Johnny Bones Jones. So, of course, Tom's very disappointed, okay?
This is number one bullshit.
He wants to stay active. He took a week off after becoming the champ, took a week off, and then he was back in the gym. Tom is always training. When we did Tales from the Octagon recently, Tom was a guest on both shows. On the Saturday night, we had a late one in Manchester. Monday morning, we were texting. He was back in the gym. He's always in the gym. And right now, he's got some of the biggest, baddest training partners. Right? When you see Tom's team, they are a very, very intimidating set of men. Very nice people as well, I might just add. And just recently, they added a new member, right? Strongman Eddie Hall, one of the strongest men in the world. There was a video of him recently on social media. He's gone down to Tom's gym to spar. Whoa! Gets dropped by a head kick, shin on chin, the man goes down. But of course, that's not the world of Eddie Hall. The world of Eddie Hall is lifting weights, okay? Heavy shit. And he had Tom moving some pretty heavy shit as well. My God, Tom is going to come back even better. And whoever it is that he gets his hands on, they better be ready for the toughest fight possible on planet Earth. Because I'm telling you, that's what Tom possesses and that's who he is. He's training with Eddie Hall. And he's lifting 130-pound dumbbells, right? Sets of 6.
5, one more, big breath. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, stop. Just rock.
That might not sound too heavy to, you know, I don't know, your Arnold Schwarzeneggers or whatever out there.
It's as satisfying to me as coming.
But for a mixed martial artist, that's pretty bloody impressive, okay? And that's what I'm saying about Tom. He's in the gym all the time, working on the cardio, the kickboxing, the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu, the weightlifting. You put it all together, the man's a fucking nightmare. He's a nightmare. So let's talk about this. Stipe Miocic turned him down. Stipe Miocic declined the fight. That's a better way of phrasing it. I know Stipe, he's a great fighter and he's a great human being. You got to look at it from both sides. Of course, as fans, as fighters, we want to see Stipe saying, yeah, 100%, I'll fight Tom Aspinall. I'll go out there, I'll beat Tom, it keeps me busy, keeps me making money, and then I will fight Jon Jones, and then I'll retire.
Y'all want to see me beat up Stipe?
But that's a risky maneuver. I'm not saying Tom would definitely win, but I think Tom would be the favorite. He's younger. He's on better form. Last time we saw Stipe was against Francis Ngannou, and that was a long time ago. The man's 42 years old in August. He hasn't fought since he got knocked out against Francis Ngannou almost 3 years ago. And in that 3 years, let's be honest, you're declining. You're getting older. So, yeah, go and fight Tom Aspinall. Everyone thinks you're the man. But what's at risk? Well, the fight with Jon Jones. So you can fight, potentially lose to become the interim champion, or you can just sit tight and wait for another few more months and fight the greatest of all time in what was guaranteed to be a massive, massive fight that you're going to earn a shit ton of money from. And you have the potential to definitely go down as one of the greatest of all time. And then you can retire. Now, I'm a fan of Tom Aspinall, okay? But if I'm managing Stipe, I say you sidestep Tom Aspinall all day long. Even if Stipe looked kind of interested, I would give him a slap in the face. I'm like, what are you talking about? Fighters need to be protected from themselves. And if Stipe was thinking about that, it just doesn't make smart business sense. Of course, the UFC, they want to promote the biggest fights possible and put a huge main event on UFC 300. And that would have been it. figuratively and literally, of course. But Stipe doesn't want to do it. He wants to wait for the fight that he's been preparing for this whole time. It's been a while. Him and Jones have been talked about for, it feels like an absolute lifetime now, okay? And I do feel for Tom because once again, he had an opportunity to go out there and fight a great, solidify his greatness even further and just wait for Jon Jones. But it ain't happening. Tom says he would have loved to have fought on UFC 300. He said, I've been training twice a day, 5 days a week. Get a life, Tom. Kidding. He's been training a lot and he's ready to go. He said, I just have to step it up a little bit for April 13th. But he said, outside of Alex Pereira or outside of Brock Lesnar, there's no one else there for me. Alex Pereira, he said he doesn't want to fight him because he's a little guy, but if the UFC wanted to do it and Alex wanted to do it, he would do it, and why not, right? Brock Lesnar, I joked about that, and that kind of picked up some momentum. Chael Sonnen was talking about it, Tom's talking about it here.
Miocic, the piece of shit!
Brock Lesnar's not coming back, that's just for damn sure. But there's no reason why Tom couldn't fight somebody else. Ciryl Gane was a fight that was kind of talked about in the past. Ciryl Gane called out Tom. I think Tom called out Ciryl Gane a while ago as well.
I'm going to go to Paris. I'm going to be sat front row for Ciryl Gane against Sergey Spivak. I'm going to beat the winner, and then I'm going to beat Jon Jones.
Ciryl Gane, Tom Aspinall, two of the most athletic heavyweights on the planet, or that the sport's even seen. Granted, Tom has a big advantage in the wrestling and the grappling department, but on the feet, Ciryl Gane can mix it up and give him a real test. So there you go. You never know. You might see that on there. For one, I'd like to see it just as a fan. And for Tom, just keep fighting. Just keep getting better. And the reality is, listen, he's just going to have to wait for Stipe and Jon Jones to come to fruition, for them to fight it out, and then he finally gets the winner. Or does he get the winner? Do both men swan off into the sunset? Because you couldn't blame either of them. Right, Stipe is almost 42. This will be his 25th fight. It's not too many fights, but he's almost 42. He's a fireman, and he lives a very simple life. Right, he's not some kind of rock star. He's not a Conor McGregor-esque type of guy. He's just a humble family man. He's made plenty of money, and of course, against Jon Jones, he'll make loads. So I understand him wanting to retire, and I kind of understand him wanting to retire against Jon Jones. Okay, Jon Jones, on the flip side, he's got nothing to prove either, apart from he really is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. I talked about this recently, so I won't bore you to tears with it. But if Jones defeats Stipe and doesn't fight Tom Aspinall, that'll be a PR disaster. But guess what? When you're retired and you got your bank account absolutely stacked and you're down there in Albuquerque, New Mexico, who gives a f***? Right, so I guess we're going to see how all of this plays out. But I would have loved to have seen Stipe versus Tom. Would have been fantastic. I'd love to see Tom versus Ciryl Gane. To be honest, I'm just looking forward to seeing Tom Aspinall back inside the octagon once again, where he bloody well belongs. Shout out, Tom. Hope you well, mate. Hope you well, brother. Shout out, Andy Aspinall. And thanks once again for coming to Tales from the Octagon. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to bed. It's late here in California. Wherever you are in the world, subscribe, ring that bell, and I'll see you soon.